We all know the rules around drinking and driving. Now the Ontario government is promising tough new rules for drugging and driving. I'm Cynthia Mulligan at Queen's Park. It's just over 9 months before marijuana becomes legal in this country. And today, the provincial Liberals announced they are the first province to come up with a comprehensive plan on how to deal with it, announcing today tough new rules for drivers who use cannabis behind the wheel. Now, the provincial Liberals are promising zero tolerance for all drivers under the age of 21, as well as new drivers with G1, G2, M1, and M2 licenses, and all commercial drivers. Fines will also increase for drivers who fail the sobriety test or refuse to take one. Now, there are still many questions around how marijuana should be tested in drivers, as well as what the acceptable threshold should be. Earlier today, I spoke with a chief of police in Colorado. That state first legalized recreational marijuana about 4 years ago. He tells me they're still struggling to find answers to these questions.
It's really important to identify what being impaired by marijuana is or looks like for you, because we still struggle with that.
Chief Jackson says 4 years later, Colorado still doesn't have an accepted field test that shows cannabis impairment. Part of the problem is it stays in the body longer than impairment actually lasts, so someone can test positive for marijuana long after they are no longer under the influence. As for whether marijuana impacts drivers, there are many conflicting studies. Marijuana activist Jody Emery cites one in particular.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in the United States analyzed marijuana and driving and found that it does not lead to an increase in crashes.
Chief Jackson disputes that study, though. He says road deaths have gone up significantly since marijuana was legalized in Colorado, and Canada needs to learn from that.
I can say that traffic fatalities are up 24% in 2 years. Last year in 2016, we had our highest traffic fatalities since 2008. I don't think it's a coincidence. I would say that what we've shown you is that they will go up. Your traffic impairment related accidents will go up.
The Premier today acknowledged there is still a lot of work to be done before marijuana becomes legal on July 1st.
This is a new frontier for us here in Ontario. It's a real shift for all of us across the country.
And part of that new frontier will also be measuring the combination of alcohol and marijuana. 4 years later, Colorado is still trying to find the answer as to what impairment means.
An 0.8 alcohol is per se impaired. What about an 0.4 alcohol and a 3 nanogram marijuana? Is that impaired?
Now, Public Safety Canada tells me in an email that an oral fluid screening device is in the process of being developed. They hope to have it available for police to use on motorists by the time marijuana becomes legal in July. And they have proposed levels for offenses based on the amount of THC in the blood, and that's the main psychoactive compound in cannabis. For example, 5 nanograms or more within 2 hours of driving could result in fines or even prison time.